All right, Jet fans, Gordon and Dan here with another edition of Jets Therapy. Today, we're just talking about the big news that came out today. Mike White is back as the QB1 for the New York Jets. We're just going to kind of go over what it means for our offense, what it means for this fan base, and what it means essentially for Zach Wilson, and what we think it means for Zach Wilson. So, Dan, just first off, dude, what's your reaction to this news?
Well, I think it means we have a chance to make the playoffs now. With all the craziness that happened over the weekend
Yeah,
with the Steelers beating, no, yeah, the Steelers won. So, but I
Bengals
mean,
beat the Pats,
Bengals beat the
and
Pats,
the
but with
Packers beat the Dolphins.
Bengals beat the Pats, and then with the Steelers winning, I don't think that has any effect on
I
our
don't think it has
playoff
effect
run,
on us.
right? I mean,
I
they
don't
can
think so.
essentially win out, and we're still there, and I think it's like that for all teams. So
The
right now we're
biggest
looking
one, the
at
biggest one was the Pats losing and the
was the
Dolphins both
Patriots.
losing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the Christmas gift, along with, of course, the Dolphins because they needed to lose one of those.
yeah,
And now we're looking at you win two games and the Patriots lose one of them. And I mean, let's be honest, they're playing the Bills and then they're playing the Dolphins, and the Dolphins are going to come out shooting in that next game.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's going to be. I think that the Dolphins they're gonna take care of them if Tua is able to play a little bit more competently.
yeah.
But this just simply means the Jets. It allows the next two games of the season to continue to be exciting.
I
I mean,
agree.
on Friday we were essentially like,
It was it was
we're
season
out
over.
of it. It
Yeah,
was out of it, barring ridiculousness happening, in which it did. So, and Mike White being in there, it's been said 100 times today. He gives us the best chance at making the playoffs. He gives us the
yeah,
best chance at winning. And I think he is just a stable fixture for this team to look at, and they know what they're going to get out of him. They're
yeah,
not going to get a horrible performance. They might not get a Patrick Mahomes performance, but they're going to get a competent quarterback who is sure of himself, who's going to make the smart throw, who's going to protect the ball, and who's going to be able to read the field. And that's
yeah.
what we were seeing when he was in there. And that, I mean, at a very basic level, that's what we're getting. We're getting someone who's at least going to be able to move the ball consistently.
Yeah. So, dude, I mean, yeah, my reaction is very similar. Like we Friday we were doom and gloom, right? It was season was over, and then like you said, we got those Santa dropped off some wonderful presents in the Pats and Finns both losing.
Mm.
That Finns game also had a little extra like turn the ball over, did a wonderful job of doing exactly that. Like he just those interceptions were nice. But
Yeah.
yeah, dude, Mike White coming back in, like we were all like, once that happened, it was like, all right, let's go to sleep with our pajamas inside out and just pray for Mike White's ribs to heal up. And my goodness, they did. Um, so yeah, dude, I mean, he's like you said, he just plays this offense so much better than Wilson did. You know, and again,
Yeah.
Wilson, it's only
Everybody
his
does.
second year. He's still learning. Who knows what the future holds for him? I know the report came out this weekend too that we're possibly done with him. We're moving on. But looking at just looking at pure like yardage and stats, in 3 games, Mike White threw for 955 yards. In 9 games, Wilson threw for 1,600. So, I mean, you know, there's a big difference
That's
there.
not good.
There's a big difference there.
So Wilson is literally in statistically, he is in
One
like
of
the
the worst,
bottom tier of like
if
one of
not
the
the
worst
worst.
starting quarterbacks in his first 2 years ever.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
I don't know what he needs to do. And at this point, it's like, and how much do we blame Jets coaching on this? Because this is like, I mean, I don't know if that's fair to do,
yeah,
but I think it's obvious that we don't have somebody that he's able to relate with and that he's able to maybe see as like a mentor,
yeah,
or see as someone who he's able to talk to, or he's going to give him sound advice, or I don't know what it is. But I mean, this is a quarterback that in Zach Wilson that came out, and during his press conference, he was like, I'm learning to find the fun in the game again. I got to go back to have it. It's been a year and a half.
yeah,
Like what is truly happening with you where you lost the fun in playing football?
yeah,
I understand that you haven't had the most success in the world, but that is a sign where you now have a potential franchise quarterback, and when he was going through his struggles, he's not even having fun,
not even
and
having
he's going
fun.
to tell everybody, "I'm not having fun. Just need to have fun again." That is a very confusing thing, and not something you want your potential franchise guy to say. So
Yeah,
I think that obviously Zach's not going to start for the rest of this year. And if he is our guy, I don't think he plays next year. He sits for a whole another year potentially, or at least half a year while
yeah,
someone else is in there. And maybe he gets a shot again, depending on the level of quarterback play. Nobody knows what's going to happen if we're going to bring somebody in, if Mike White's going to be the dude. But right now, Zach needs to sit. He needs to take time to learn. Hopefully, Mike White in these next 2 games gives us a little glimpse of like, this is
Could be the
potential
guy.
we could have next year. We have a lot of our talented, a lot of weapons coming back next year. You know, we don't know what's going to happen with Corey Davis and Carl Lawson, and obviously we need to give Quinn and Williams just the kitchen sink. He needs to stay. So we'll have to see what happens. But in Sal's press conference today, he said we still see Zach being a part of this franchise in the coming years, or whenever that may be.
Yeah.
Is another team going to try to swoop in there and say, we're going to give Zach a chance as well, and we're going to give you this for him. We'll give you a second rounder or something like that. Who knows? But at the end of the day, this is exciting to have Mike White back.
Yeah.
And it's because I just feel so much more grounded in what he can do as a quarterback.
Looking at,
we know what to expect.
Looking at it, dude, he spread the ball around so much more than Wilson did. He brought the best out in our running backs. Cause again, when you've got, and again, hopefully this offensive line fixes itself in this next week here, because we can't have Mike White getting sacked directly in the ribs again. You know what I mean? So, he just tosses the ball around much better than Wilson does. No, he doesn't have that 40, 50-yard bomb arm like Wilson does, but we saw last weekend, dude, he wasn't, or on Thursday, he wasn't accurate with it. And I think that comes down to his confidence, and whether or not that's from the fans or the pressure of being the quarterback in New York or the coaching, I don't know, man, but something definitely was up with him. And I agree. I think Mike White gives us the best chance to win. And whether or not he's putting himself out there to be our quarterback next year, he's putting himself out there to be a quarterback somewhere next year. So if we win these 2 games and we make the playoffs, that's a huge statement for this team and for Mike White as the quarterback.
Dude, careful. I mean, these Jets in the playoffs, dude, defense travels.
Man, nobody wants to see this defense in the playoffs.
Yeah, and we really just I think almost all pieces. If Mike White wins the next 2 games and we get into the playoff, the only piece to me that's still a question mark is going to be the running game. You know, and again, these next 2 games will show a lot. Yeah, offensive line, running game, and that I don't know what we're really missing other than a potential running game right now. If Mike White can step up and be a guy that can win games.
Yeah, I agree.
Just beat teams like Seattle, beat teams like the Dolphins, because then you get into the playoffs and anything can happen, truly. And like I said, defense travels, and if we figure out that run game and Mike White is is kind of the fixture to the Jets offense that we think that he can be, we're looking at potentially this would happen in 2009.
Make a little run.
We didn't think that we were going to make the playoffs. Rex Ryan was even like, oh, we're out of the playoffs. We made the playoffs. And then we went to AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And these are building blocks for next year. If you finish 9-8 and you get into the playoffs, next year it's looking up. It's looking
good. Yeah, I agree. All right, dude. I think that's it. I think that's all we need to talk about for now. We got Seahawks coming up this week, so we'll do another preview here in a few days. And
yep.
All right.
All right.
As always,
y'all later.
JETS.
Jets.